Okay, good evening, folks. Today is Thursday, August 28th, 6:59 p.m. Sorry, we are delayed today. We needed to wait for quorum, and some of our members were slightly late. Brian, can we have roll call, please?
Mr. Demetria.
Here.
Mr. Griffo. I'm here. Dr. Hopkins. Mr. Nascentio. Mr. Jackson. Mr. Court.
Here.
Ms. Merritt. Here. Parker. Here.
Here. Can you also please read the Open Publics Meeting Act?
In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, Public Ordinance 175, Section 231, Sunshine Law, copies of the public meeting notice were sent to the Courier News, the Home News Tribune, the Star Ledger, the Franklin Reporter, Tap into Franklin Township Clerk Manager, district schools, offices and associations, PTO presidents, and posted on the district website.
Thank you very much. Can I get a motion to move into confidential? Moved by Nancy, seconded by Jimmy. All in favor? Thank you. We're going to motion to adjourn to confidential for the purpose of discussing confidential matters, including personnel matters. Minutes of the confidential will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. We'll be shortly back. Thank you. Good evening. We're still on Thursday, August 28th. Time is 7:35. We're just coming back from confidential session for the purpose of discussing confidential matters, including personnel matters. Minutes of the confidential session will be made public when the reason for confidentiality no longer exists. So if you are able to, please stand up and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. Jimmy, can you lead us, please?
That's right.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Nick, can you read the mission statement, please?
Franklin Township Public Schools embraces its diversity, fosters excellent educational innovation, and empowers all students to achieve their highest potential.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda? Moved by Bill. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Just for the record, Board Member Dennis Hopkins, Erica Inocencio, and Walter Jackson will not be in attendance today, so all the members that you see here tonight are the members who are in attendance. Last few days of summer, and in September we will have our student liaison from Franklin High who will be giving our report, and we're going to move to the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Ms. Singh. First on the docket here, school readiness. Campuses are near ready for receiving staff and students. The 25-26 school year, which kicks off for staff on Tuesday, September 2nd, and students on September 3rd, students on September 4th, which is Thursday. Our custodial and maintenance crews are currently putting the finishing touches on schools and campuses. Summer capital projects are finishing up, and everything should be near wrapped up by Monday, with the exception of the high school air conditioning project, which we anticipate will be completed by the start of the first full week of school, which is Monday the 8th. We look forward to the return of staff and students next week. The School-Based Health Center, I'm excited to announce the work on the Franklin Township School-Based Health Center is near complete, with the exception of Zoo Falls work to install equipment and furniture. As a reminder, the health center will be located on the Hamilton Street campus in the area of the old tennis courts. We look forward to the grand opening of the Zoo Falls School-Based Health Center in the early fall. The 2025 Administrators Retreat. The annual Administrators Retreat occurred last week on Tuesday and Wednesday. The district administrative team participated in professional development, covering a variety of topics such as data management, staff evaluation, school law, school safety, restorative practices, building positive school climate and culture. It was a great 2 days organized by Dr. Logren and his team. Thank you, Dr. Logren. And thanks to the PD team. The activities all took place right here on the administrative campus, actually right here for the most part in this room. And it was a great opportunity for collaboration aimed toward gearing up for the upcoming school year. New staff orientation. New staff orientation began last Friday and ran Monday through Thursday this week. New staff were involved in several activities that will help them to successfully transition into their new roles within the Franklin Township Public Schools. We look forward to a great year with all of our staff, including our newest team members. And today was the last day. They did wonderfully, I'm being told. We had a total of how many, Dan? Do you remember? Not to put you on the spot, but... Excellent. Great job. Convocation and professional development. Our annual staff convocation and professional development days are scheduled for September 2nd and September 3rd. This year at the elementary level, beyond the traditional training, there'll be an emphasis on social and emotional learning strategies, while at the secondary level, special emphasis will be placed on restorative practice training. We look forward to welcoming staff back on Tuesday, September 2nd. And then, the start of school. Finally, as a reminder to our families, the 2025-2026 school year kicks off with a full day of school for all students in grades kindergarten through 12 on Thursday, September 4th. Then, our pre-K students will join us on Monday, September 8th. Again, the 25-26 school year starts with a full day in kindergarten through 12 on Thursday, September 4th. So next week, next Thursday. And then our pre-K kids will follow and begin their school year on Monday, September 8th. So we'll see you all very soon, I guess. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Raleigh. So for the board president's report, once again this month, we're going to start with a moment of silence for a few people. We recognize the loss of several people who have touched the lives of our district community. But firstly, on behalf of the Board of Education, I want to offer our sincere condolences to our Board of Education member, Mr. Walter Jackson, and his family on the loss of Walter's father, Mr. Walter Bernard Jackson Sr., who passed away last evening at 7:40 p.m. Late last month, we learned of the passing of Alfreda Freddie DiGeronomio. Freddie was the mother of Sarah Oliveria, preschool teacher at McAfee Road School, as well as our district employee for over 20 years. She served the district as a teacher and later as the supervisor of language arts literature K-5, supervisor of early childhood, and supervisor of academic support K-5 and librarians K-5. And then former Board of Education member Miss Mary Pearl Brooks, who also passed away late last month. Ms. Brooks served the students and staff of Franklin Township Public Schools for 2 terms from 2001 to 2007. Our thoughts and prayers also go out to families as well as the Minneapolis, Minnesota community as they struggle with the senseless tragedy which occurred yesterday. So please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. On Monday and Tuesday of this week, our district welcomed hundreds of student families to the board administrative campus right here and was able to give out over 1,530 backpacks filled with school supplies. This event was made possible by many very generous donors, including Assemblyman Danielson, through his annual backpack drive, the Franklin Township Community Relations Bureau and Police Department, the Franklin Township PBA, as well as the Franklin Township Administrators Association. Representatives of local organization KIDMA attended the event and distributed water and snacks to our families. Our food services staff was on hand to facilitate school meal applications. At Monday's event, the Franklin Food Bank set up a farmers market so our student families could pick up free produce after choosing their school supplies. A list of donors is posted on our district website, and we thank them all. I would also like to commend Director of Research Planning, Accountability and Assessment, Ms. Anna Washington, for organizing the event and her team for filling countless number of backpacks and arranging them so our students could shop for their supplies. This event truly brings the community together and puts everyone in the back-to-school mindset. As the students at Franklin High School head back to school, they will be greeted with some special news. First of all, this year marks the 20th anniversary of the present Franklin High School building. Secondly, Franklin High School has once again been included in the U.S. News and World Report list of the best high schools in the U.S. for the 25-26 school year. We are very proud of this distinction and grateful to all these dedicated administrators, faculty, and staff who have served our Franklin High School warriors over the past 20 years. That brings us to the end of my report, and I would like to now ask for a motion to open for comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker on agenda items only. Moved by Nancy. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Bill. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker, agenda items only.
Seeing no one coming forward, Madam President, I move to close the public session.
Okay, motion to close public session on agenda items only by Bill. Can I get a second? Seconded by Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we are on to committee and liaison reports. We will pass those on. They are all listed on the website. So I would encourage all of you to go on the website and read the committee and liaison reports. I would request if the board members have read them in preparation for tonight's meeting, if they have any questions with regards to the committee or liaison reports, we have some of the board chairs available and they can answer those questions. So I'll start with my left. Nick, you have any questions on committee or liaison reports? You may want to press the...
No.
Okay. Nancy? Jimmy?
No question.
Lori?
No questions, thank you.
Bill?
Some of the items were discussed in confidential for the athletic committee report. We'll get into that later.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Okay, we're on to new business.
I'd like to make a motion to approve R1 monthly reports, A1 travel and related expense reimbursement, A2 affirm harassment, intimidation, and bullying decisions, A3 memorandum of understanding with Rutgers Dental Medicine School, A4 facilities use, A5 maximum allowable cost of independent educational evaluations for the 25-26 school year, A6 revised policies first reading for policy 2422 and policy 6220, A7 new policy first reading for policy 5339.01, revised regulation adoption for R5112, district vehicle usage, which is A9, A10, which is 25-26 PEA budget. Sorry, that was A10. A11, accept donations. B1, warrants and payrolls. B2, financial reports. B3, from A until R. S has been withdrawn, and T until Y. Change orders, before change award of RFP 2016-19 Asynchronous Learning Platform Elementary Spanish, which is B5. B6, receipt of bids, Student Transportation Services, bid SA 2526. B7, award of bid, Student Transportation Services, bid SA 2526. B8, natural gas and electric supply for districts. C1, out-of-district students, 25-26 school year. C2, field trip destinations. C3, field trip applications, there aren't any. C4, new course and curriculum. C5, new curricula. C6, memorialize minor curriculum changes. C7, Rutgers University Hip Hop and Spoken Word Therapy Study. C8, University of Dayton Student Expectation Studies. C9, Math Content Acceleration Pilot. C10, District Professional Development Plan 25-26. C11, District Mentoring Plan 25-26. C12, District Evaluation Onboarding Plan for 25-26. C13, District Sheltered English Instruction Training 25-26. C14, New Jersey CUSAC Planning Team. C15, Class Dojo for K-5 Communication. C16, Agreement with Knowing Science. C17, accept ESSA Consolidated Grant Funds for fiscal year 26. C18, authorized submission of the ESSA Consolidated Grant Fund for fiscal year 26 application. C19, application for the Reading Intervention for Secondary Engagement RISE Grant. C20, application for the Literacy Initiative for Families in Thriving Communities LIFT Grant. P1, revised job descriptions. P2, personnel report number 2. And that's it.
Okay, so we have a motion on the agenda for R1, M1, A1 through A11, B1 to B8, C1 to C20, P1 to P2. Any questions? Jimmy? Lori?
No questions.
Bill? Nick?
I just had a clarifying, a couple of things under B3 for contracts.
Sure.
The technology order for Sadiq School, the security order for Rutgers Prep, technology order for Cedar Hill Prep, and a security order for St. Matthias School. So those monies that we get and pass through to the schools, that's
Exactly right. It's called Chapter 192, 193. They're flow-through funds. That's state money that we're responsible to distribute because the state obviously wouldn't have a direct tie to the private schools within a particular community. So we become the agent for distributing those funds on behalf of the Department of Ed.
And there's no impact to the taxpayer, right, John?
Right.
No impact to our budget. No, it's state money that flows through us that we become responsible to distribute.
okay, then I'm good.
Okay. Nancy, any questions? Okay. Can I get a second for R1, M1, A1 through A11, B1 to B8, C1 to C20, and P1 to P2? Okay, we have a second from Lori. Brian, can we get roll call, please?
Mr. Demega?
Yes. I said yeah. I'm sorry, so I'm going to abstain from the one personnel matter, but I'm good with everything else.
The vice principal appointment at...
Elementary, Elizabeth Avenue Elementary School. Thank you.
Mr. Grippo?
Yes.
Ms. LaCourte?
Yes.
Ms. Maris?
Yes.
Mr. Parker?
Yay.
And Ms. Singh?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you very much. So with that, I would like to welcome our new vice principal for Elizabeth Avenue School. I'm going to try and not butcher your name, but I'm going to say it. Ashley Delgado de Amor. Okay, thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be here with you tonight. Franklin Township Board of Education members, Dr. Avalli, and district leadership and Board of Education staff, as well as the community members. I'd like to thank my family for being here today. my mom, my dad, as well as my father-in-law, and my husband Drew, our daughter Delta, who's in the back. She thinks there's going to be singing. I'm disappointing her today. And one of my dear, dear friends, Andy, who's here to join me. As well as my new colleague, Mr. Greg Romero, principal of Elizabeth Avenue School. I am truly honored to begin my 18th year in education as the newly appointed vice principal of the Elizabeth Avenue School. I am beyond excited to join the dynamic and dedicated team at EAS. Over my past 18 years in education, I've had the joy of serving in many different roles, including paraprofessional, classroom teacher, and science instructional coach, all of which have shaped my journey as an educational leader and provided me with unique experiences and lessons that I will carry with me into this new chapter. I could not be more excited to join the Franklin Township School District family as a proud Franklin warrior and EAS Tiger, and I am looking forward to working alongside and learning from Mr. Romero, a passionate and seasoned administrator here in Franklin, and working and collaborating with the amazing staff, families, students, and community partners at EAS as well as across the district. As the new vice principal of Elizabeth Avenue School, I am committed to cultivating and supporting a school environment where every student and staff member is seen, valued, and empowered to reach their highest potential. I will work alongside the students, staff, and families of EAS, leading by example, in order to continue to foster a collaborative and inclusive school community rooted in the Franklin Township School District values of equity, diversity, and high expectations for all. I am so grateful for this opportunity and so excited to begin the year as an EAS Tiger. Thank you very much.
Now I would like to get a motion to open for public comments, 5 minutes per speaker, any topic. Moved by Nancy, can I get a second? Seconded by Bill, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, comments from the public, 5 minutes per speaker, any topic. Please come to the microphone, state your name, address, and you can speak.
There you go. Just sign in before after you speak.
Okay.
Just say your name and your address.
Okay. Hello, I'm Alicia Thompson. I live at 131 Arlington Avenue, Somerset, New Jersey, 08873. I have a quick question, and I'm sorry if I missed it. I was doing bath time with the kids, so I came a little late. But I'm noticing that Franklin Park School, where my children go, there's going to be a lot of changes. I noticed that the vice principal left, so now we have Ms. Sikorsky as our new vice principal. And then as of yesterday, unless things changed online, there's still an open position for principal. So I just want to know, what does that transition look like if you already named an interim? Sorry for the question, but I just want to know, what does that look like? What is the transition going to be for our students? When will parents be made aware? And if there is an interim, is this supposed to, like, are we still on the hunt for a principal? What is going on? Because school starts next week, and a lot of us either A, didn't know that our principal was leaving, unless you're on the PTO, or we just have a lot of questions because there's so many changes with the vice principal leaving as well as the principal. So I just want to know, what is the status of that and what does that look like, timeline, all of that.
Thank you.
I'll just leave it.
Yeah, we're gonna listen to all the comments and then we'll answer at the end. Anyone else?
Hi, my name is Yang Zhou. I live in 128 Selby Court. I come to this meeting as I asked a question about is the property tax increase is too much this year. And from the bill, compare bill last year and this year, my bill increased 22.8%. And biggest part is the school, the property tax contribute that. So I have a documentation about this, how is the revenue, how is the budget. I don't know if right now it's increased 10.7% for this increase for the property tax regarding to this school the budget. I want to ask, can you give the explanation why they increase too much? And also, I also noticed that in this budget, there was the one item called personal services employee benefit. That's increased 22%, up 22.7%. Can you explain to me why they increase so much? And another item is also increase is regular program instruction. The increase is the 14.4%. It's also a lot. So I want to give a explanation why. Okay. Yeah,
Thank you.
that's all.
Anyone else?
Hi, good evening. My name is Vicky Kwan. I live in 128 Grantham Drive. And I have two kids who attended Franklin Town School. My kids went to the charter school, CJCP. So I really appreciate what has been done to support the school choice in the district. But I have the same concern as Mr. Zhou Yong just expressed. As a resident, we feel very shocked for the for the property tax increases. We hope that at least there will be some heads up, not just like when little green car arrived, and then we were told that, wow, this year's tax increases so much because, yeah, we understand there is inflation, there might be, school aid, being cut from the federal or from the state. And then we went to the town hall meeting. Not sure if any of you attended the last meeting on August 21st. It was packed. And then so many furious residents expressed the concern for the sudden increase without heads up. So I'm here to express the concern of my neighbors. I live in a townhome community, 186 household in my townhome. And then I walk every day, talk to neighbors, everybody feel the pain and the shock. So I'm here to express my concern and see if there's possible a tax freeze for the next few years, or even adjustment, because economy is not that ideal. None of us increase our salary over 17% to 22% overnight. I understand school might be underfunded, and then we were explained by the mayor and council that, school was given a blank check this year. Governor allows a school increase the budget without voters' approval. That's what we were told. So I'm here to direct the questions to Board of Education, because when we communicated with the mayor and the council on the town hall meeting on August 21st, we were told that please come here, express our concern. Otherwise, Board of Education may not be aware the anger, frustration we have for the poverty increases. So every one of us, none of us have unlimited resources. We all learn to spend on things that matter to us the most. So I'm asking for the next few years, I hope this time school already have enough funding they've been longing for. And then for the next few years, I'm really hoping that if there will be some surplus that will help lower the property tax, because Franklin is really not the most affluent town in New Jersey. And we have to consider those people who live on disability, who are disabled, and then they are living on social security only. We have 2 residents show up crying to the mayor they are not able to pay the new assessment. I really feel for my neighbor. So I'm asking that since every one of us watching our dollars, and I hope school will be the same, the administration will feel the pain. Maybe the administration live or may not live in this district, but I think that it makes sense for all of us to watch and then spend wisely. So my question is, would it be possible to have a tax freeze in the next 5 years? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Helen Fu. I reside on 128 Selby Court. I have 2 questions. Number 1 is about this fiscal year's school tax increase, which is 10.7%. This is what the mayor told us during the last town hall meeting. Okay, according to state government, it's approved by Governor Murphy that this year there's no, school districts can increase school tax above the cap, which was 2% in the past years. But there's a maximum, which is 9.9%. I would like to know why Franklin Township Board of Education increased our school tax by 10.7%. Why it's not 6% or 7%? Okay, how you decided on this tax increase, the percentage increase? Okay, it brings a drastic increase in our property tax. So for this year, our property tax increased by $1,500, which is over 20% from last year. Okay. My second question is, there are 3 charter schools in Franklin Township. There's a Central New Jersey, right? Central New Jersey Charter School, and another one is Thomas Edison Energy something charter school, and another one that blows my mind. Okay, it's Barack Obama Green. I've never heard of this charter school, but it's obviously it's sponsored by the Board of Education. Okay, the location is Plainfield, New Jersey. It's not even in Franklin Township. So why should we use our taxpayers' money to support that charter school? Okay. Yeah, I'm done.
Thank you. Anyone else?
No one else, Madam President, I move to close the public session.
Motion to close by Bill. Can I get a second? Seconded by Nancy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Public comment is now closed. John, would you like to address them?
Well, I'm going to talk to our Franklin Park question. Let me speak to the Franklin Park question. Yes, our principal has moved on to another principalship in a school district that is closer to her home. So her resignation is actually on the agenda tonight. It came about very quickly for her. So she has just recently resigned. Once her resignation, of course she told her staff, once her resignation is formalized, which means the board accepts it, now tomorrow she'll have a letter that will go out to her community, her school community. Again, she's already spoken with her staff, and it will speak to the fact that she's moving on and leaving the district and so forth and so on. With regard to our situation, so we'll have her for 60 days from the point that she submitted her letter, which was a couple of weeks ago, so that'll take us to about mid-October. And then if we don't secure a replacement for her by then, which would mean we'd have to appoint somebody at the September board meeting, and that likely won't happen, but if it were to, then there could be a principal in place as soon as she leaves, and of course the school community through the PTO will be involved with that. If by chance that happens, the likelihood, likely not. So then we could end up with an interim principal, which is, someone who is experienced, who would run the building in the absence of the permanent replacement, and that likely could occur, and that would carry us probably until the winter recess, which the holiday time, or somewhere close to near to that. So we wish Ms. Stein well, Principal Stein. We wish her well. She's been a fantastic assistant principal at EAS for us in the past. She's been a fantastic principal at Franklin Park. But she, like I said, is relocating to a district that is very near to her house. So we're happy for her. And I'm sure she's going to do a tremendous job there as well. So best of luck to her. And again, that will be our process. And our personnel department has started, or will start, with the advertisement process now that the resignation's official, and we'll go from there. So I hope that answers your question. That's pretty much the standard process whenever we have a vacancy like that, especially one that comes about. I mean, the timing isn't great, but again, we're happy for her, as it will shorten her commute and put her in an area that is very close to her home. With regard to the budget process, I guess the couple things that I would probably say about that is, yeah, the charter school issue, we'll start with that, which was the last thing mentioned. Very complicated situation, but we do pay that tuition. So that is a bill for us. So for every child that goes, we get charged a tuition, which is 90%, then with weights added for grade level, and so it does get somewhat complicated for each child that goes. So we pay that tuition. So like if you were to go to a private school, you pay that tuition. The school district pays the tuition for each of those kids. That's how the law is, that's how it's written, and that's what we must do. Our total charter school bill, which we typically read in our finance minutes, it's for the entire year, we pay over $26 million for roughly 1,200 to 1,300 kids that attend the various schools. Also, the law doesn't prohibit school by proximity, meaning you don't have to attend a school within the boundaries of Franklin. You can attend a school in Newark if that's where you choose to want to go to a charter school, or any other place in the state. Now, we don't have to pay to bus you, but when you do go to a school that might be that far away, we do have to offer the parent something called aid in lieu, which is about $1,200. If you go to one of the charter schools that are within our boundaries, separate and aside from the tuition that we pay, we also have to pay the transportation costs. And, you know, the philosophy that I think is built behind that is, you know, you're not spending that money on the child within your own district. But, you know, what's not built into that formula is the fact that we're a large district, so we have 7 elementary schools. If you have a group of students that go from a particular grade level, they might come from one of any 7 elementary schools. So we're not laying off a teacher because of that. We're not cutting a classroom off of the building. We're not really getting a dollar for dollar savings, even though we're sending all the money. It's been a long argument. You know, whether you're on the school choice side or not on the school choice side, but that doesn't matter. This is an economic issue in New Jersey. And it's one we've talked a lot about over the years, because that's a large amount of money that comes from the budget and goes to the various schools for a small population, or a small representation of the larger population of the district. With regard to the budget, first let's briefly just talk about the process. So we start the budget process for the new school year now. We'll set some goals. We'll begin preparing the budget. We'll work on it December, really tighten it up in January, and then in February, although it won't be this February because we'll have a new governor, so it won't be probably until he gets to delay or she gets to delay their first state financial announcement. Every governor in their first term, first year, gets to do that. Then they'll announce state aid. Then what we do is we have, and we had one for this year as well, we have a preliminary budget hearing, so a forum just like this, it's advertised, and folks come, they ask questions, we explain what we anticipate we'll be spending this year. We did that, and we had quite a few cuts involved because the initial money that was released, or what initially came from the governor's office, was very different than what ended up. And we had a number of positions on the chopping block. We had a number of programs on the chopping block because we had a loss in state aid, and we are below adequacy and below fair share. What does all of that mean? It means the state runs a formula, and they come to, and this gets a little complicated, so I apologize, but I'm going to do my best to break it down, because we do empathize, and this is happening all across the state, and even if you don't live in this community, I don't live in this community, but my community is not excluded from this experience. It's just how the formula is running this year. So you have something that the state determines as a base per pupil amount. So they say, and I'm very animated, so I apologize, but they say it takes X amount to educate a child based on what they consider a thorough and efficient education. So they look at curriculum expenses, they look at personnel expenses as it relates to teachers, and so they look at the different expenses that tie into educating a child. And they come up with what they call a base pupil amount for T&E, and you can look that up online. Once they have that, they weight it for a variation in population. So they say, okay, it's a little more expensive to educate a student with special needs, a child who might be classified and have an IEP. It's a little more expensive to educate a high schooler than it is maybe a third grader, and a little more expensive, and so they start weighting it. So now if you're a high schooler and you're below a certain income level, you're considered, a Title I student. Your English isn't your first language. You're a multilingual learner, and you're getting weights for each of those things, and that increases the base pupil amount for each kid. Then they take that total population for your district and multiply it by the variations in the formula. And they come up with what you should be spending as a total for your budget. They call that your adequacy budget. If you're below that, they used to give you a contribution towards that in the form of state aid. In the formula now, there's something called fair share. They also look at your community's average income and your community's property wealth. If you're below adequacy, meaning according to the state formula, you're not meeting the needs of your kids because you don't have the financial ability to do it and spend what you need, you're below adequacy. And above fair share, meaning they look at the wealth of your community and the property value in their formula, and you're above fair share, they give you state aid so that you can raise your adequacy spending and spend what you need in order to keep your staff and buy your books and do everything you need to do. If you're below fair share, what the formula is telling you, if you're below fair share, it's not us telling you, it's what the formula is telling you, and it's a State Department of Ed formula, is you need to raise taxes to raise your adequacy budget. We're not going to send you the adjustment aid we used to send you so that you can maintain or spend your budget. So we were pretty far below adequacy. And how do you get there? You get there because that 2% cap sometimes just isn't enough with inflationary expenses, and when you're adding students and you've got all the other challenges, charter schools that might be growing and so forth and so on. But you're only allowed to grow by 2% over the years. That spending gap gets a little larger. And then when you're below fair share, you're not going to get the state aid. The only way to make that up is, in the current formula, is to levy additional tax. Now, we qualified for quite a bit more. I'm not sure where you're getting the 9.9% maximum. What they do is they give you the ability to raise your levy in an amount equal to what you're spending under adequacy, which we didn't do. I mean, some communities did, some of our neighboring communities did, but we didn't do that. We raised our adequacy spending just enough so that we didn't have to cut staff, so that we didn't have to cut some of the programs that were on the chopping block, all of the things that we had said we were going to need to do on our preliminary budget. So from the point of our preliminary budget to the point of our final budget, because then there's a second budget hearing in April, which you're all invited to, you get the opportunity to comment again, and then the board finally approves that budget. Once the Board of Education agrees with what is presented, then it becomes the final budget. So that's how the process happened this year, because we were in our original budget, which became the advertised budget with the additional levy. We were so far below adequacy, and according to the state, not taxing enough. We had to, the only way we could maintain our positions and maintain our programming at the current level that it's at was to raise some additional taxes. So we did have a lot of discussion about that, and you also had to apply to do that. So it's the Commissioner of Education, not the Governor, that approves. The Commissioner of Education for the state of New Jersey that approves the application. So what he did, and it is a he, what he did was he looked at your proposal, looked how far you were under adequacy, looked how far you were under what they consider fair share, and then said, okay, well, I see what you folks are doing, and the expenses that you're raising, you know, the teachers that you're maintaining, the technology that you're maintaining, the programs that you're maintaining are all qualifying under T&E. We are approving your application for the amount that you submitted for. Now, we discussed that application in an open forum like this on April 10th. So the original preliminary budget where we announced we were making all these cuts, that happened, I don't remember, but it was March, because it always happens in March. That was like March 28th, I think it was, somewhere in that neighborhood. Then, shortly thereafter, we've got the DOE memo that talked about what I just went through and said, but in order to do this, you're going to need to hold a hearing and talk about the application and advertise it. So we advertised it, we held the hearing, we talked about the application, and we did have some folks, including some council folks. We talked about the application. You know, I don't want to say, because believe me, again, even though I might not be here, we're all in this situation no matter what community we're in, depending on your school district and where they were. So we do empathize, but we talked about how much we needed versus how much we qualified for, and you know, we took about half of what we qualified for and added it to the levy. So believe it or not, there was, you know, if we raised 10%, we could have actually raised, well, we didn't raise above the 2%, we raised another 8% something, but we had qualified for even more than that, but we didn't need that, right? So again, other districts, because we used some surplus. Somebody else mentioned surplus, and we used surplus, meaning that's the reserve, banked, you know, the money we had in the bank. We, about $1 million, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, about $1 million, we took out of the bank and put that towards this too, rather than passing that $1 million along. So, you know, we have that challenge now too, because one of the things you have to do in school budgeting is the first thing you need to do is now save money, really, and somebody said it, but we always are, you know, we're good stewards, believe me, I've been doing this for a while, and we will try and do everything we can, because we do, you know, that's the unique thing about school budgeting. And if I'm talking too much, this is, you know, intriguing. The thing about school budgeting is you're predicting what your expenses are going to be for a school year in the April before the school year is going to begin. Makes it really tough because, you know, things are fluid, right? So now our teacher comes back this month and orders materials that they estimated to be X, and now they're X plus whatever because of, you know, a new, the cost of transporting it here or whatever. So it makes school budgeting a little tougher than even your own home, where you're maybe a month or two ahead. We've got to be like 5 or 6 months ahead. So But we will do our best to try and generate what we call underspending. But the first thing we have to do with that underspending is put it back in the bank. That's the first thing we have to do, is we have to get the reserve back to 2% of our total budget, because that's what the auditors expect. And that's really what we should have. But again, the board chose to utilize some of that surplus, so they didn't have to yet even add that much more, another $1 million to what already was a fairly large increase on the school side. So, again, that was the funding formula. That's how it worked. Where we used to get adjustment aid to assist in getting us to be able to pay our expenses in order to be able to reach that adequacy. And, we're not at adequacy now, nor were we even when we were getting the state aid. But the only way that we could do it now was the additional levy, unfortunately. So I think that's what the mayor might be referencing. And, school budgeting is different than municipal budgeting, so that's why I took the time to kind of explain that. And I can explain it even more. I don't want to take up everybody's time. There are a lot of people here that maybe not have this concern, but I certainly will talk to you afterward. I'm always hanging around, so I can even talk a little more if you'd like to learn a little more about it and the situation we're in. Now, for next year, we don't know what next year looks like. We don't know what next year looks like because even though that formula is a legislative formula, it's in legislation, it could change. Legislators could change it. So the whole formula could change, and that's part of the issue too. It's very difficult to stabilize a budget when the rules are always changing, right? So we have to see new governor. Maybe they propose something different to the legislator, or maybe the legislators change. I mean, lots of things happen, right? And it could be all new rules. And we'll wait to see what the new rules are. And then, but I can guarantee you this, because this is also in law, there will be a preliminary budget hearing, and that will be in March. There'll be a budget hearing the following month. So there's a month in between. Those two things have to happen. And the board has to vote in April one way or another. They have to vote on something, because you can't go without a school budget all the way out to July. Some districts tried, because there was lots of this going on back and forth, and ultimately, like a district in Ocean County that I know, they were forced by the commissioner ultimately to strike a budget, and they raised taxes more than 10%, I can tell you that. But that's kind of the best I can do with it. So I hope I answered questions, and I will hang around afterward, I promise.
John, didn't you get a $500,000 bonus on this?
Well, that's a good point. They called it incentive aid. So the commissioner, the Department of Education, incentivized the additional levy. See, I think they didn't have a lot of money, so they incentivized and gave, for every dollar you took, they gave you a nickel, basically. So for every dollar that you were willing to raise taxes in order to get closer to adequacy, they did give you a little additional state aid. So we did get $500,000 additional aid for raising the levy, if that's what you're referencing. They called that tax levy incentive aid, also part of the formula.
You have a question?
Yeah, John, can you talk about how charters, how they're duplicating our services? They also have a superintendent making...
I'll let you talk about that.
Oh, goody. Okay. Or that we have Roger Jinks that is our county executive superintendent, and he's approving all of these steps along the way, so we do have checks and balances. And everything that we do, every dime that is spent, every budget, every policy, every piece of curriculum, every personnel report, everything that we do is available and has been available on our website. Everything that we vote on, because we vote on every dime that we spent, is online. It's on YouTube, so you know exactly what it is that we're doing. So there's 100% transparency. So I think that's important to note that. And also how we're taking students, some of our students have severe disabilities, and the costs for educating those students up until they're 21 can be extremely expensive. Some of the programs, we've been fortunate enough to provide programs in-house, so it's less expensive and it's also better because it's a community school, it's a community environment, but for some kids we can't do that. So there's a huge expense for that. Our special education budget is extremely expensive. And our English language learners and students that are Title I students that are economically disadvantaged. So there's all different costs for that I don't think that people really understand, that that's what Franklin has. You know, we're fortunate to have a diverse community, but we take everybody and we provide everybody with opportunities, and our mission statement is what we live by. Franklin Township Public Schools embraces its diversity, fosters excellent educational innovation, and empowers all students to achieve their highest potential. So we're giving them the opportunities to do that. With respect to the charters, can I go on?
Please, go ahead.
Okay, now I'm hot. With respect to the charters, we're paying a superintendent. First of all, you see our budget. You have 2 meetings on our budget. Our budget's posted online. Everything, all the money that we're spending, it's all online. But I've looked very hard to find charter school budgets. When I have been fortunate enough to find them after hours of searching, their personnel is one line. They have a 3-page budget. We'd love to have a 3-page budget, but we have like probably a 600-page budget because every single line is included in there. So it's hard to see what they're spending their money on. And you're paying for a superintendent. Well, we have a superintendent. We have a good superintendent. You're paying for teachers that might not have the qualifications that our teachers have. You're paying for students that there's a student activity fee, and the charters wanted us to allow their children in their schools to participate in our sports, but they didn't want to give us all of the student activity money back. They wanted it to nickel and dime it, like we'll give you for this kid and not for these 15 kids or whatever, and that wasn't really fair, and it's an administrative nightmare. There's like so much of charter stuff that I really don't think that the public understands, and that you're duplicating services, unnecessary services. We have the capability of educating our children. Clearly, we're doing a good job of doing that. We're providing our kids with 20-something AP classes. Our kids are passing it. Charters don't have that capacity. We have kids that are learning how to fly airplanes. We have, kids that are going on to Broadway and performing and winning Tonys. We have kids that are doing a whole bunch of different things because we have the opportunities to give that to our students that the charters don't have. And if they get an extra kid, they can just expand their classroom. We can't expand our classroom. We have to add another section. So that's another teacher, that's another room, that's more electricity, that's more everything that goes with that additional room, assuming we have the additional room to have that. So, sorry.
I'll hang around and answer any questions that anybody would. How's that?
How did I do on that?
Can I go now out of my?
Okay, so we'll just move on to good of the order, and we will start with you, Jimmy.
Nothing, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Lori?
I just want to say that all of the board members by law do live in this community. Our administrators do not, but all of your board members do, and we do empathize, and we try to spend the money in the most responsible way possible. And other than that, I would like to say that we're looking forward to welcoming the students next week, and we're going to have a great 2026. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Bill?
Nancy gave a great overview there, and so did Dr. Ravelli. I almost wish that more of you people showed up tonight. I was looking for a big crowd. You have a half a dozen people that spoke at the microphone. And the superintendent gave a brilliant, you're sitting there nodding your head, agreeing with him. I've been here 50 years, not in this seat, but in many seats in this district. Put 5 kids through our public school, 12 years each. Each kid is super, with a capital S, successful. Brilliant success because of what they learned in the Franklin Public Schools. And every one of the years that I've been an administrator or on the board, every year we have to fight for the budget. The first 30 years, it was elected and it was defeated and we had to go through that. It was a mess. What people don't realize, and you lay people, and I give you guys credit because you're very articulate, all of you who spoke. We have, let's say, 8,000 school kids. We have 1,000 staff members. They get health benefits. They get a decent salary. If they don't get a decent salary, they go to another district, and then a member from the public, like the young lady to my right, will come and say, how come that person left the district? Maybe they got more money. So we have great facilities. Our high school is a state-of-the-art building. All the buildings that were renovated in the last 6 to 8 years, DeMeglio and I did a referendum that raised millions of dollars to upgrade our schools. You know how much rubber we waste, not waste, but use on bus tires? This is 47 square miles that we're busing kids in the rain and the sleet, and just like the postman. A lot of districts in New Jersey, you walk to school like I did. There's a lot of expenses to this particular district. I can tell you that no one's wasting any money up here. We've got a brilliant arts program. It was referred to by Nancy or Ottoman. Excellent sports program. All things that create good citizens. I looked at my phone a little while ago and Rutgers won tonight, big time. 5 of my kids went through Rutgers, master's degrees. All because of Franklin schools. So I get a little antsy when people, and not you guys, because you came up very intelligent people. I mean, the superintendent had to really work to answer those questions. You don't know what goes into the formula and what goes into the effort to run a school like this. Part of the success of my kids is based on the diversity of Franklin Public Schools. One's a top engineer for Amazon. You have to know people and how to handle people to have a job like that. And in Franklin schools, you're rubbing shoulders with white kids, black kids, Asian kids, you name it. Some of these other schools don't have what we have. So, you know, I'm going to defend this. Can we save money? Yeah, I mean, you come up with some good ideas. The superintendent is not throwing money out the window. If we say to him, hey, we can save money on this particular situation, he listens. Plus, we have people breaking the doors down to find a preschool with us. 1,000 kids want to come to our preschools. That's another story you're going to hear about soon. So, you know, my days on the Board of Ed are numbered. 50 is going to be my magic number, but then I'm going to be sitting out there defending the schools because I'll be able to kick these guys in a different way. But this is a very good school district. And a lot of people use this time of the year. Now, I'm political. I'm very political. This is the silly season. People are running for the Board of Ed. Maybe you're in the audience tonight. I mean, that's good. If you are, you should be. You're running for council. But you're not going to do anything different that we did. What are you going to do? Hire a cheap superintendent? Cut teacher salaries? I mean, right, Jimmy? I mean, think about it. Use common sense. We're doing the best that we can. And finally, what happened in Minnesota yesterday, and I'm a Roman Catholic. Believe me, I was going to be a priest, so it kills me what happened. Is an absolute tragedy by an animal, especially during the Holy Mass. Terrible. Our superintendent and our Board of Education have upgraded every building like Fort Knox. I used to call them man caves. You're not allowed to say that now. There's a lot of nonsense. But, you know, little hallways where people can't get in the building. New windows. Police security at every building that we have to pay for. When you see police at the buildings, they're not doing that because they're Boy Scouts. They're getting paid. So we're keeping our students safe is a big emotional argument every year. Are we going to get metal detectors? No. Are we going to do this? No. How do we keep the kids safe from some lunatic that could come in? This is all on his plate. So I hope more people come out to these meetings because I'll take everybody on. Well, my daughter calls me up and says, Dad, I just landed Disney World project, Disney World for our business. That's Franklin Public School warrior talking. So, bring them on. I mean, that meeting last week was disrespectful to the mayor. People standing up screaming at the mayor. At least you people had courtesy and intelligence tonight. God bless you. That's it.
Thank you, Bill. Nick?
Sure. I was actually at that meeting last week with the mayor, and I expected a lot more people here tonight, but I want to just piggytail on what's been said about the budget. I'm the newbie to the board. This is my first year, but I will tell you that I ran the President's Council for the district where all the parent organizations belong, and we had Dr. Ravalli come to our meetings almost every year to discuss the budget because we all wanted to know what those line items were. And I can tell you from being on the board and going through this budget process and the explanations, there's not any money that's wasted. Brian, our business administrator, I'm always questioning what's on the list to pay every month when I see the board agenda, and everything is legit. There's no money that's being wasted that I see. I'm not an accountant, but from what I see, it's all in order. I do want to also, I was out last month, so I wanted to publicly thank the parents and the teachers and the administrators that came out to support Project Graduation in June. It was a memorable event. This year it was amazing. We couldn't get rid of the kids. They didn't want to go home 4:30 in the morning, and we still had 350 kids there. It was amazing. Great event. Everybody had fun. I also wanted to give kudos and a shout out to Anna Washington. I know Artemon spoke about it. I was here on Friday last week and dropped off donations from businesses in town, and then I came back on Monday to watch it all in action. She does an amazing job putting that together, and thank you to the businesses and the police department for their donations. And my last thing is happy birthday to Franklin High School, 20-year birthday. I remember when that building was built, my nephew was one of the students in 9th grade when that building opened, and I remember Mr. Westfield was the principal there, and they had a hard time getting supplies and furniture, and it's come a long way 20 years later. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy?
Sorry.
Go for it.
Okay, so this is my last year on the board. It's my last couple of months, so I've decided, I'm just going to say whatever I'm going to say. I got on the board in 2006, and I handed my son, Evan, his diploma at the high school, and it was the first graduating class at the high school, and it was just amazing that it was such an honor to be able to do that. Ma Pearl Brooks was on the board with me when I first got on the board. We didn't televise our board meetings initially, and it was something that I ran on, and because parents are putting their kids to bed, or they're doing whatever, or maybe you don't even have kids, you just like want to know what's going on in the school, because you really should know what's going on in the school, because it is a lot of your money that's being spent on the school, and the most important things in your town are your police department for security and your schools. An educated community is a good community, it's a healthy community. Anyway, the other thing, so we do, we're excellent stewards of the money. I remember when I first ran, Brian Levine, I was running for mayor, maybe he was mayor at that point, but he told me that he was going over to talk to some residents when they were about to take their property for eminent domain to put up a box store. And he said that there was a woman who said, "I can't afford this." And there's a lot of people every single day that say, "I can't afford this." And that woman, I can't remember her name now, suddenly, but she sits on my shoulder. She sat on my shoulder for the past 19 years. Every time I spend a dime, I think, can she afford it? Can my father, who was a senior, could he have afforded it? Could I have afforded it as a single parent? Could I afford it now? Could my children not afford to have it? Is another question you have to ask. Another thing that we do in Franklin that actually has helped us save money is first of all, Zufall came to us. And it is a community health center, and they wanted to, with a $250,000 grant, I think it was, no, 50?
$50,000 grant, and then whatever, the recovery money, what is it?
COVID.
Yeah, COVID, but there was a name for the recovery money, and that was from the township.
All right, so the purpose of Zufall coming to us, or the purpose of having them, was if our kids are sick, they're going to come to school, because they might not have a pediatrician that they go and see on the regular basis, and they might not get wellness visits. So that started with them, and now it's actually going to turn into something for the community. So it shows that the town and the school district have an excellent relationship, and a lot of towns, most towns actually, don't have that. Another thing that we have is, because we're self-insured, is the Warrior Wellness Center. So it's another way for the district to save money in health insurance for our employees to be able to go to the Warrior Wellness Center, to go see a doctor, to go see a chiropractor, to get a prescription filled, to whatever it is, and it's right in town. So they're not like taking the day off. They can go on their lunch hour to go do this. When I first got elected to the board, I thought, like everybody else who's running, that it's like I could change everything. It doesn't matter what you're running for. I could change everything like that, right? It doesn't happen. I've never seen so much red tape as I've seen in government. It's disgusting how much red tape. It takes forever to get anything done, but sometimes it's worth the wait, and sometimes it's not. But it's not going to happen tomorrow. So if you think it's going to happen tomorrow, it's not going to happen tomorrow. Council, because this was brought up at that at the mayor's tax meeting, was that somebody said, well, council controls the school budget. Well, council does not control the school budget. They haven't controlled the school budget for years. What they did do was when we voted for budgets, and Bill was talking about how we would have to sit there and as a board member working with the FTEA and calling people and saying, please vote yes for the budget, and like making gazillion phone calls and praying that the budget was passed. If it didn't pass, then council could make cuts, but they couldn't tell you where to cut. They said cut X amount of money, but they couldn't tell you where. They do not have anything to do with our budget. Their budget is separate from our budget. So they're not the ones saying, you're spending too much, or you're doing this, or you're doing that. We're two separate types of government. We work together well, but we're two separate buckets of government. And I mean, that's it. I have a lot more. It's late, and I could just keep going about like, this is a really good town, and every dime that's being spent is being spent wisely, and I'm proud of what we're spending. I'm proud of what it is that we've done. From where I started to where we are now, it is a completely different board. It is a completely different district. I wish that I was a student now at Franklin High School, because the opportunities that our kids have in forensics and just, I mean, so many different really cool things. It's just amazing. And other school districts and big, wealthy, affluent school districts that are large don't have the same opportunities that our kids have. They don't have the same classes. They don't have the same they don't have the same amount of AP classes. They don't have the same amount of honors classes. They don't have a lot of the things that our schools offer. They don't have the same diversity, which is like so incredibly important. So when you graduate Franklin and you go out into the world is a very different place than what you might think that it is. And the diversity in race, religion, socioeconomically, every single way that you can think of diversity, that's what it is. And it also means inclusion and belonging. And I think that Franklin is very good at getting people to feel like they belong. And that's it. Oh, wait. Have a good school year. Like, I'm really excited about the beginning of the school year. And good luck to our teachers and our parents, and to our kindergarten parents and pre-K parents. It's okay. We're going to take really good care of your kids. That's it.
Thank you. So don't be sorry. This is our time. This is good of the order for board members to speak. So I will end with saying that I landed in this country in 1998, and I landed in Franklin Township and made Franklin Township my home. I know one of the community members spoke and said, Franklin is not even an affluent town in New Jersey, so why do we have high taxes? Everybody has a different definition of affluence. I think Franklin is phenomenal. Franklin has raised phenomenal kids. I raised my 2 kids in Franklin. They are doing great. And I gave all of my volunteer hours to Franklin even before I had kids, I started working as a substitute teacher in Franklin, even before I had kids. I saw the high school being built. I was a substitute teacher, and then when I had kids, I got involved with the PTOs, and then I got involved on the board. And I have two phenomenal administrators sitting here tonight, Dr. Solomon, Mr. Segal, who actually taught my kids, and they know Franklin is family. Franklin is the extended family that I feel so proud to be a member of. I am happy to call Franklin my home. This is my home. And everything that the board members said here tonight, I can't say more than that. I don't want to give like a longer speech or say anything else. I wish you all a great summer, the rest of the school year. Let's look forward and see the next school year starting in next week with the yellow buses back on the roads. And let's move on positively for a new phenomenal school year. I will miss not seeing my kids in the school district anymore, but I look forward to hearing the chatter, hearing the sound, and move on, move forward. And even though I'm not a Franklin warrior, I will always have my wishes for Franklin to be the warrior town in the best district in New Jersey. Have a great night, everyone.